Okay, well, we're running. I'll put it that way. I had to put in a new gear, and I had to shim it properly. It was wobbling, and that was causing the switches to go bad. And then I put in new switches, which had a very light touch, so they'll trigger easily. One switch is wired to the chuff sound, so you're hearing the chuff. The other is wired to the smoke sound, and you can see the smoke. My challenge is this motor and the gear ratios in here at barely operating, 8-9 volts with no load. It spins too fast, and the motor doesn't decay between puffs. So it's strobing. I tested it with a light, but you really can't see it by the smoke, but you can hear it by the sound. That sounds nice, right? Chuff sound. Okay. Now then, I try to slow it down, and my problem is the soundboard needs 8 or 9 volts to operate. So as soon as I drop below 8 or 9 volts, the sound drops out. And if I go too low or low enough, I just can't get it to puff like that I want. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. It just doesn't rest well enough between the puffs. There you can see it's barely puffing right on the edge. Just can't do it. So there's that slow speed. That's at 8 volts. 1.3 amps, and then I go up to full speed, of course. Now I'm over pulsing the soundboard, so it's just jammed, and I'm pushing smoke out like crazy. I bring it down to about 14 volts. You get a really nice staccato chuff, and the smoke is plentiful. 60, now you got some chuffs. You hear the chuff, 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 chuff. The smoke is just still continuous. And as slow as I can go, right there, no sound. And you still got way too much smoke. Now I've tried to diddle with this settings down here, going from different parts of the switch to see if there's more delay in one spot or the other, and it just doesn't seem to help. Doesn't seem to help. The only other thing I could do, right now I'm doing 2 pulses per revolution, just because I only have 2 cams on this gear. I could grind one off and go to 1 pulse per revolution, but then you would sound like all the other flyers. So I'm a little torn, what to do, how to do it. Better check that voltage. I think it's gone up on me. Any rate, that's kind of where it's at. Temperature's not too hot. Let's see if I can get a reading on that. About 85. I don't know what it's like down inside there. This is 85C. Getting up to 90. Well, if it got up to 90, It's like 150, I guess. 160, 170, 180, 185. About 185, that's all it can do. So that's okay. That's well below, you know, where we need to be for safety and all that. Now this is the royal blue chassis, except for that wheel. I mean, if you look at that wheel, it just doesn't look right. It looks fatter than this wheel, and I don't know what the hell. And I know I had an Atlantic that had a fat wheel back here and a skinny wheel up there, and that bothered the hell out of me. I think what happened is I built these up and I put two wheels on that were different sizes, so I'm going to have to figure that out. My little board fell off. It's down here. It's okay. So this is the wiring, jumpered okay, but I mean, this is where it's going to take to get all this to go. Here's the, so you can see here, there's the triggers for the smoke. That's the soundboard, and it's going over to this switch. I can stop it by jamming it. I can jam that one. Doesn't seem to do much, but I can. And then these switches, this switch goes into this board. The smoke is coming right off of this power supply back here, so we're getting that nice 6 volts. And the motor is getting its power from this rectifier. I don't have a reverse unit. Because mine are all fried. These are old, real old, and I don't think I abuse them, but they just don't work for me. Anyway, I have a friend who thinks he can repair them, so I'm going to give him that challenge. See what happens. Well, I just saw something that looks really weird. You ever wonder where your magnets went? Oh, there they are. They're stuck to something and sticking up in the air. Isn't that funny? Okay. Well, that's the other choice with this, is to put a magnet sensor in instead of the limit switch. But I thought the limit switch would be, you know, a lot more robust, but apparently not. Stripping. The gear is bad, apparently. It's just losing it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, that's the edge I'm on. You know, I have good low speed smoke. I don't have low speed sound. I don't have low speed. I don't have low speed. That's the challenge. I need to gear this motor down 2-to-1, maybe even 4-to-1. Gear it down, because in my other, if you look at the other videos when I'm running TMCC or Mike's Train House, I can run those things at a crawl. And then you hear the sounds because it tracks at 15 volts. So the speaker system is fully energized, but the controller is throttling the motor back to, you know, 4 or 5 volts, so it's not screaming. So it's and it's amp driven, so it's set the amps so that if you have more cars, it torques up, it pulls. So you can literally crawl out, chug, chug, puff, puff, all working well with some kind of a controller in here. This doesn't do it. This is not good enough. You need a controller or you need the gearbox. These are nice. These are $25. Not bad. There's another board that's a little more expensive. I got one here. Yeah. Cruise Commander. It's a lot bigger board, but it has cruise control. Yeah, I got a couple of those. One of these days I might put cruise control on one of these engines with all of this stuff, and then you would be able to better appreciate what we can do. Alright, well, so this is it. This is that idle, more or less. Cut her back a little more. Oh, right there's the edge. Right there's the edge. 8-9 volts. That's it. You have good smoke at 8-9 volts. You see that. And, okay, let's take it out. We're taking it out. 90. 14, just under 14 volts. Sound system is going to hell. It's really trying 15 volts. You hear the rattling of the linkage. Now it's just flat out. It's flat out, and the sound is just barely hitting once in a while, but you got good smoke. That seems to be the size of it. That's where we are, and that's what we can do. All right. Well, I'm gonna. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I'm gonna wire this up and run it through wired. Make sure I didn't mess up the wiring diagram. And then, pardon me, we'll put the bodies on and run it around. See how that works. I still have a problem with how to do the wiring, where to put it, how to run it. Always bugs me. I hate the way we have to. If I run it along the bottom, which I really like, how do I get it up here? It's all jammed. I have to run it along the sides or near that wheel. Nothing works right to bring it over and bring it up. You have to almost bring it straight across. And then that gets messy because now you got wires. No train ever had wires hanging from the cab. It just doesn't happen. So anyway, that's it. That's what I was able to achieve. I rebuilt my gears and put in the adjustments. I put in new switches. And what you're seeing is as good as I can get it given these constraints. Okay, later.